98.1. Love music, love life. This is the locker room, and it's all about sports this morning. As always, we love when you're a part of the conversation. And Tega, how you feeling? I know you were a bit under the weather the other day. Glad to know
I'm
you feel
feeling
better.
great. I feel a lot
Awesome.
better than Arsenal fans. That fall from the top of
Oh,
the table must have been huge.
How did that
Yeah, the
stray bullet
crash
go
could
to
have
them?
given them a serious back pain. But I feel a lot better than they do. Um, so, good morning, everybody. We are driving towards the new year, and there's so much going on, especially as Australian Open is starting. Already, Rafa Nadal is in Australia. He's in Brisbane, actually. So we may be seeing him and we'll see the form he's in at the start of the year. Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz have already played an exhibition in which Carlos Alcaraz won in 3 sets. So it sets the tone for the next year. The NBA is still on. So we'll be talking about all of that. And then, of course, we'll touch on the Premier League, where not much happened, but Arsenal lost another match to West Ham United. We'll touch up on all of that after Zibby, you tell us how to be a part of the locker room this morning.
all right. We're streaming live on YouTube, so you can catch that live stream. It's Smooth 981 on YouTube. You can also send a message via WhatsApp 0809 4440981. And of course, you can tweet RX at Smooth 981.
Masha, please can you give us the headlines?
On the bill this morning, competitive animal Nadab back for one last hooray, as there will be song omits Bayern star Choupo-Moting from Cup of Nations squad. There will also be Arsenal, the elephant in the room on the pitch, missed chance to reclaim a top spot after defeat by West Ham. And then comes Holland ends goal drought as United fight back to beat Villa. There is also Gakpo backs Liverpool forwards to fill in for absent Salah. Then also Mourinho, Lukaku, and Dybala set for different receptions when Roma visits Juve in Serie A. Then comes Chelsea snatch late winner against Crystal Palace. Of course, there would be late rally fails to save Tottenham Hotspur in defeat at Brighton.
Right. So all those stories are more but let's start Zibi one more time before we do that. Can we give away the phone the number for the phone calls, because we may have to jump into that as soon as we get into the Arsenal stories. So you can call us today on the locker room on
The number is 01448991. That's the number. I'll give it again so you can save that number, have it on speed dial 01448991.
all right.
And moving on now to the first story, more than 2 decades after bursting onto the scene, the sun is setting for Rafael Nadal, a storied career with the Spanish gladiator hoping his creaking body can hold up long enough to see out the season.
This is going to be a tough one. This is one of those ones you're just wondering if it was not a good idea to just, you know, say goodbye from home. You know how it is. You retire from the injury. But he's been working so hard. The last time he played was this time last year. So he's been working so hard to get back into form. Other players have been complaining. So players are like, the season is about to start. When did it end? You know, because already they're talking about the calendar being a little too long. Except you're over 30 or over 35, I think. That's when you now start picking and choosing tournaments you go to. One of the biggest complaints, and your ranking is protected. So it seems a little unfair to the younger guys that have to go around to maybe 18 to 20 tournaments to be competing for ranking spots with guys over 30 that are just picking and choosing whichever tournament they please, and their ranking is still protected. And so it's a tough one. So there was that complaint about the season being long and some tournaments being close to each other, especially on the WTA, where they had some back-to-back tournaments and they were really major tournaments. And there was 1,000 Masters and a lot of them missed. And they're like, I need 1,000 points but I need my rest more. So some of the players have said, oh, the season is starting a little too early. But Rafa Nadal, who has been out of the game for a while, it's like the season is starting a little too late. You know, he's already arrived in Australia, shorts and all, pushing his trolley with boxes. He's ready to sleep there. So he has that, then he has the pre-tournament, then he has the Australian Open to see if his body is ready. And for me, that's already too many tournaments for a body that is already giving you warning signs. Like your body is telling you that we are tired, and now you're booking a few back-to-back tournaments. It's a little too much to ask your body to do. But let's see how he's always been one to push his body. So let's see how his body reacts to all this pressure. But Rafa Nadal, yes, is back. And the truth of the matter is, unlike most people, if he's not 100% or if he can't give 100%, this is when we'll know whether he'll continue or whether he'll back down. So this is really a trying period for Rafa Nadal fans, for a few tennis fans who have been too hesitant to say goodbye. These are trying times.
Wow. All right, let's move on to football. Bayern Munich striker Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting is the notable absentee from Cameroon's AFCON squad, which was unveiled by head coach Rigobert Song yesterday.
So it seems to say releasing their list for the AFCON that is taking place on the 13th of January in Cote d'Ivoire. Morocco has released their list, South Africa. South Africa's list was also omitted a certain Burnley player, Forster, who, I mean, South Africans were so happy when they saw him play for Burnley and he was one of their key players. But list has been released and his name is not on it. Now, the decision was that, he just came back from injury, so it's too early for him to even try to make South African squad. Bison Company had already said that earlier in the week, but South Africa confirmed it by not calling him. Morocco has released their list, but Cameroon's list is the most shocking of all. First of all, for two reasons. So people are anticipating, and Onana's name was on the list, but the rumors coming out of Cameroon is that he may not even be the one starting. He may be substitute for Ondoa. And people are just like, you mean Manchester United are going to lose their only goalkeeper, even if it's a questionable goalkeeper, to the African Cup of Nations just so he can sit on a bench? That's just a big deal. But what is even a bigger deal is that Choupo-Moting has been dropped. So Cameroon is one of those teams that, I mean, the last time they won the African Cup of Nations, they dropped 6 major players, went on to win it. So sometimes those things work for them. So let's see how it's going to work for them this year. Nigeria is yet to drop their list, though. You're allowed to leave a list of 27 names. According to reports, Jose Pesero has whittled down that his 40-something man list to 25 names, and he's saying 25 is enough. And the technical committee is saying, no, submit 27 names. So we are still waiting to see who wins that battle. But yes, Nigeria is yet to drop their list, but very soon, our list will be out.
Okay, we drift on now to the Premier League, but before we get to the story, once again, we'll get the number across. It is that point where Tega's therapy for today would just come handy. 014489981 is the number for you to call as we dive into the story. Arsenal spawned the opportunity to retake their first place in the Premier League as they lost 2-0 to fellow Londoners West Ham United at the Emirates on Thursday night.
Yes, and that was literally what it was. They spawned the chance to go top of the table because all the Christmas matches that have come in from Boxing Day till now, every team has put on the fighting chance to have a better Christmas. And Arsenal was sitting pretty at the top of the table before Christmas. Looked like they're a team that meant business. And then they come up on Thursday, which was yesterday, against the West Ham United side. Now, there are so many reasons Arsenal should have started this game differently. First thing is, they've lost to West Ham already this season. So they should have been aware that this is one of those tough teams. Second thing is, this is a London derby. Anything can literally happen. And third thing is, they are on top of the table, had been pushed down because of the victory of Liverpool the day before. And so it was an opportunity to reclaim their spot, show everybody that they mean business, an opportunity to get 3 points at Christmas, just keep that momentum moving. But, well, as unnatural as it is for an elephant to be sat on top of a tree, that's how unnatural it was for Arsenal to maintain their position on top of the table. Because they step up against West Ham United, and you will hear Arsenal fans complain about a lot of things, about the officiating, and they may be right. The first goal should not have been given because all of the ball was out. Yes, we agree with you. You are right. But Arsenal created 15 chances, had 2 shots on target. As at the time they were trailing by 1-0. Tottenham created 9 chances, had 2 shots on target, and their 2 shots were in the back of the net. So at the end of the day, Arsenal, with all the possession they had, with all the chances they were creating, mostly they were half chances. And they didn't trouble, West Ham goal enough. So they had the possession, but they didn't have clear-cut chances at goal. And there's all of this logic and argument about maybe if the referee had not given that goal, maybe he would have had a chance. No, you did not have a chance because you did not create enough chances. It's that simple for the Gunners. And you're looking at the Arsenal team. Gabriel Martinelli has not been in great form for such a long time, but maybe he has Mikel Arteta's nudes because he's always starting and then he's always coming up and disappointing. And then Gabriel Jesus, people complain that, he was injured for a while, but he's not been injured recently. But he's still not put the ball in the back of the net as often as he should. And now when you watch Gabriel Jesus, you understand why Pep Guardiola easily sold him to Arsenal. Because usually you'd be hesitant to sell such a lethal striker to an opposition team. But Pep Guardiola did not bat an eyelid to trade off Gabriel Jesus. And this is one of it. He has so much activity, but not enough results, not enough goals to back up that activity. And so you look at the team, even Bukayo Saka on his side, he's struggling with a bit of form, and so his decision making in the final third on the pitch is questionable. He shoots when he's supposed to pass, and then he passes when he's supposed to shoot. So, those are things that they have to look at. Ultimately, you can question the referee's decision on, so it's not even the center referee. You can question VAR's decision on not getting the right angles again, because this is the second time they're not getting the right angles for Arsenal. Again, and giving a goal that shouldn't have stood. You can question that, but ultimately, that was not the reason Arsenal lost 3 points on the 9th. Arsenal lost 3 points on the 9th because on the 9th they didn't do enough. Bottom line. All right, so let's talk about after watching Arsenal's chances yesterday against West Ham United, can you still categorically say that they're going to win the Premier League title? The numbers to call are
0144899181, but we'll have to take those phone calls on the other side.
Yes, we'll take those phone calls after this big break.
Get ready. Stay with us.
Nigeria's #1 station.
Excuse me.
Now, where did Zibby disappear to? 1 minute she was on my screen, the next minute she was gone. Is this a Michael Jackson something?
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that. That is why we spent for you to take care of your daily experiences at Providence Bank. All about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providence Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 684 387 or email businessconcierge@providencebank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. confidence back. Future forward banking.
As is history, I belong to the chop better earn. Now, why anytime I want chop like this, I dey put better things inside. For my young college, I'm gonna love this fish. I go want different onions, tatashiri, corn seasoning with correct no cubes for that delicious taste. Because my people, good life, now life from chop better. Sama all your food with correct vegetables, from seasoning with no cubes. For that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
What happens with witchcraft in Adonai?
You want to set up for
I should post it. What? Like what I would the art. Should I put 80 or this one?
Okay, this is first.
Find yourself using a skill against the father who abandoned God.
What will we don't you know?
Drama like no other. Watch out for only Showmax. Subscribe for 1,200 Naira only. Sign up now at showmax.com. This
Yeah, Master, bring us in.
It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Tega still with us, and we're getting to the phone lines now as we take your calls. Tega, once again, the questions for them this morning for the therapy would be.
All right. So having watched Arsenal again drop the ball against West Ham United yesterday, do you still think that they can win the title this season? The numbers to call are
0144899981. 0144899981. We've got a message coming through on WhatsApp, but let's go on to the phone lines.
Hello, good morning. All right, go ahead. Respond to Tega's question.
As an Arsenal fan, I won't mind changing Arsenal's name to Arsenal Football Sporting Club because I'm used to this type of disappointment, you know. So I don't expect Arsenal to win. If we win the league, to be a bonus. Thank you very much.
That doesn't seem like
wow.
a happy fan right
Wow,
now.
that doesn't seem like a hopeful Ghana. I used to say I'll marry a Ghana because they are very hopeful, but now I'm changing my mind. Maybe 2023 has done the Lord's work. All right.
We're still waiting for more calls to come in this morning, but the maker's message is here saying, I think Arsenal players overfed themselves during the Christmas break. Bukayo looked like he's still recovering from the plenty amala he ate at his family home. As for VAR, let's not talk about them. The missed chances were totally unforgivable. EPL title race is a marathon and not a sprint. So at this point, it is too early to tell who will win the league. Comes the call.
Good morning. All right, Bolu, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I make a comment based on what Tega said just now. He said you initially said you're going to get married to an Arsenal fan. I almost got that contract for you. I almost got that contract there. I almost got the stuff. I almost got that car because they're almost getting the trophy. Thank you very much and have a good day.
All right, thanks for calling.
Okay, that's Bolu's message for you, but we still got piles of messages waiting and call also coming in.
Good morning. All right, AY, go ahead.
I'd like to say compliment to the locker room and the tickets to see that Christmas movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now I'm talking about Arsenal, the elephant obvious. So I just feel that Arsenal right now, they need to go back to the drawing board and re-strategize. Thank you.
All right, thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts.
You
Compliments of
mean
the season
Arsenal
to you as well.
the Arsenal should not have a drawing board at this particular point in time. They should have thrown that drawing board away. All right.
We have another phone call. Good morning. Good morning. Name, location, and go ahead, please.
Mohammed from Lagos.
Mohammed.
I told my friend who is an Arsenal fan, elephant know they stay on top of tree. He called me over the weekend, told me that is Arsenal when they drew with Liverpool, they went on top. I said, give it time.
That's what they do. They don't go stay on top of tree. And as per Pesero, how can you be giving a 27-man list and you are rejecting it, say you want 25? If they give you 25, $27,000 now, would you reject it and say only wants 25? I beg you, forget. Arsenal, elephant no dey stay on top of tree.
All right.
Okay.
And then it seemed
All
like
right.
the chicken in the background also confirmed, say, yes, that's what the chicken in the background of Mohammed's call was saying there. Good morning. Good morning. Well, this is supposed to be the call in. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Your name and location. You're welcome. So let's get your response to Tega's question.
Okay, so for me, I think university for that from happened sometimes. However, I'll put the blame of the coach. And I think because that's not always go to this game. I think I should be blamed. I mean, you're supposed to from the goalkeeper all the way down to terminate and defense line. Don't even let me excuse the defense line. It's expect from the goal. Because the thing is, sometimes you have to treat your team name that you actually had this major go against some teams like West Ham in particular. So for me, if Arsenal is scripted, it should be blamed. However, we're just halfway into the race. In the marathon, like I said, I'm going to think like just like I said, so the thing is, still having something to cover. I think we can have what we can get the winning fighting. That's my take for now. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so Tega, the calls. Okay, that's what we've gotten so far. I see quite a few messages in there already waiting for you too. Tayo's got a message here where he says, the god of football strikes again. How can Man United and Chelsea be winning and Arsenal after Saka died is there losing? My friend, go back to default setting. I hope it's not starting to fall apart for Arsenal anyway. It's not unusual for them. Tottenham have never been a serious club.
Okay, I think Delilah must have touched Saka's hair, but let's take a few more stories before we take some of those messages.
And we go over now to Rasmus Højlund, capped Manchester United's trailing fight back from 2 goals down as the Denmark striker netted for the first time in the Premier League to seal a dramatic 3-2 win against Aston Villa on Tuesday. And
what a second half that was. I mean, I was rooting for Manchester United from the start of the second half. Like, you can't lose again. You cannot lose another match. You have to come back. And boy, did they come back. And so that match is a message to the Gunners. That's how you come back from a 2-0 deficit. Manchester United just increased tempo, increased pace, and took advantage of Aston Villa's high line that had been begging all of first half to be taken advantage of. You know, they found a way around that high line and threw the ball, they put on some pace, and Garnacho just got on his wheels and gave the defense something to worry about. And those are the things that can save your job. Now, however, if you ask me, that looks like a temporary fix because I think that's my biggest problem with Manchester United. Like that, they don't seem to be able to sustain that energy match after match, game after game. It seems as if they bring out a different level of urgency and intensity whenever they are desperate to maybe save their coach's job or maybe save themselves from being another bad story on the headlines. Because every time they seem to be in a doldrum, they come up with these magnificent results. The problem is a lack of consistency. So when you saw Aston Villa against Manchester United, on paper, with Aston Villa's form, having not lost in, I think, 14 or so matches, when you saw that on paper, with the goals were scoring, with the way that they were playing, you thought this was definitely an Aston Villa 3 points. And especially as the match started and they went ahead on 2 goals, you're like, okay, it's going to be a beatdown for Manchester United. But Manchester United fought back. And that was the difference. They changed rhythm, they changed urgency, they came back into the game, and 3 goals in the back of the net. Garnacho's goals, not really surprising, especially even if he played from a different wing for most of the match. But Højlund would have been very happy. In fact, when he scored the goal, the way he celebrated, even I celebrated. In fact, I dare say, if you didn't celebrate Højlund's goal, then you may be suffering from a different form of witchcraft. because that was how big it was for him to get his first goal after them spending so much money for him in the middle of December from all the way from August. So it was a good one result for Erik ten Hag, but because Manchester United have proven not to have any consistency, I'll say this was a quick 10 fix result. They'll still go back to factory setting.
All right, let's move on to the next story. Liverpool's Cody Gakpo believes his side have the forward firepower to go without Mo Salah when the Egypt star departs for the upcoming AFCON.
Yeah, I love who has been saying, they wish Egypt to go deep into the tournament, so they'll not have Mo Salah. But you see, Darwin Núñez scores. Diogo Jota is back from injury, and that guy finds a way to sneak in balls to the back of the net. Luis has been struggling a little bit. He's been off form, but he can still put the ball in the back of the net. So Liverpool have goals from one to many places to say that they suffer because of Mo Salah. That's not to say that the pressure won't tell, because Mo Salah is almost a cheat code sometimes. Just deliver the ball to him out wide and he can pull up some magic tricks. So he's important. And it's an easy wash. But Liverpool, like he said, still have firepower outside Mo Salah to be able to make a game of it. So it may be a little more, they may have to play a little differently. They may have to struggle a little harder. But yeah, they will still get the ball in the back of the net. And I think for me, that's the difference, with Liverpool and Arsenal this season. I still think ultimately Manchester City, with the way that they play towards the end of the season, have the upper hand in this title race. I still think so. However, if you ask me which team between Arsenal and Liverpool can give Manchester City a run for their money, I would say it's Liverpool because of this tendency to get goals from anywhere and this focus that they have to be able to get the results that they need, which I don't necessarily see in Arsenal.
Let's touch base with the Serie A as we quickly would wrap up the locker room this morning. 3 people will get a special welcome when Roma visits Juventus in the Serie A on Saturday. What is the identities, please?
All right, tough one. So Roma first had Napoli last weekend. They were able to overcome that hurdle, won that match by 2-0. Napoli collected 2 red cards there. So good day for Roma. But they were rewarded with another fixture against another top team. And this time Juventus were doing very well in the Italian Serie A. Now, Jose Mourinho is enemy number 1. He was the one that won the title for Inter Milan and the treble for Inter Milan against Juventus. So enemy number 1. He's going to definitely be good. Lukaku is enemy number 2 for many reasons, including winning the title with Inter Milan just a couple of seasons ago. So that's there. I think the only person that seemed to have that may have a favorable reception despite playing for the other side will be Dybala, because the Juventus fan seem to like him a little bit. But yes, it's going to be a tough one for Juventus, for Roma, sorry. They're going to rile up the coach, they're going to rile up the players on the pitch, and battle be fought on every single patch of green. So that just makes it interesting for the neutrals that are watching Juventus take on Roma. But that makes it even more exciting because remember, Inter Milan and Juventus are in a close battle or a close race for the Scudetto. And every point is necessary. So if Roma can do Inter Milan a favor and just take all 3 points, find a way, find a third wheel, that'd be interesting to see. And on that note, let's just take some messages to wrap up the locker room. Just 1 or 2 because we are really out of time.
Ibuku is waiting and he says, Tega, so Arsenal fans forgot the Odegaard handball against Liverpool. Officiating in the EPL is a seesaw. It goes for and against, so better take your chances, Ibrukun from Ketu. And then I've got this one in Shegun from Ikorodu. It says, though it's still early days, Arsenal's loss yesterday just reinforced skeptics' opinion that they won't win the league. they just never disappoint. Last season, they didn't win the league even when they had exited all other competitions early and had only Manchester City in the EPL to contend with. This season, they are still in the UCL and have two major teams in the EPL to contend with. They will not win the league. Shegun's thoughts.
All
And on
right,
that
well,
note, we want to
that
say
is it
thank
for
you.
the locker
Yeah.
room.
And thank you for
Tega.
sending your messages. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Thank
we
you
can
for
hear you.
sending your
Yes.
messages. Thank you for sending your phone calls. Thank you for tuning in and for watching us on YouTube. Till we meet again on Monday, hopefully. Your football
Happy New Year,
club
that will
is
be.
not. Hopefully your football club is not fodder for banter in 2024. All right. Take care and have a great weekend.
All right. That's it for the locker room. Stay with us. Lagos